Hello. For today, it's Monday, glute day. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. You might want blocks. They're not really that necessary, but they might be handy. At some point, we'll use a blanket or cardboard to slide a little bit. And this is totally optional, but if you have like one heavyweight or something that is like kind of a heavy object, I don't know, do people still have like those big cans of apple juice? Maybe one of those if you have that. Have that handy if you want. So we'll start today standing. That's a lie, but hold on one second. Like that's a 100% lie. Okay, we'll get this playlist going on. So come on down onto your feet, and I'm going to show you something and that you might like it and you might hate it, but it will tell a lot about what's going on. And pardon my back, but I'll show you here because it's from the best angle. But you'll tuck your toes under and then sit your butt back towards your heels, but make sure that your ankles didn't like splay outward or in, but you still got like your butt bones on your heel bones. And we're going to stay like that for a second. So that's an active, or it's a passive stretch, but we're going to stretch here while we do some other stuff. So reach your arms out nice and wide and feel that you didn't also puff your ribs, but you're still aligned with your head over your tailbone. And then take your thumbs right to the insides of your fists. I'll just show you where you can actually see one of my hands. That's better. At any point, PS, if the foot stretch becomes too intense, just ditch it. But you'll begin to make circles at your wrists in the fist. For those who are just joining, we're sitting on our feet like so and enduring this foot stretch, an ankle stretch, for as long as we can still breathe, and then go the other way. And I mean that like as long as you can still breathe or like not feel like totally panicked. You should be getting a stretch through your feet, but nothing painful. Last two. And one. Open your fingers and wiggle them out. As you wiggle your fingers, still feeling length and ease through your neck. And then make circles with your long hands, long fingers, kind of flamenco hands. Just look at the eye of your elbows. That's this part, this like bendy part here. And try not to have the eye of the elbow moving too much. So you're really moving from the wrist only. Then go the opposite direction. You're like, I thought we were doing glutes. We are. We're also going to do some stuff on the hands. So we want to prep that, and we're doing a lot of things all at once. If you're still on your feet, come up, untuck your toes, and then sit back towards your feet. And that should feel like it's quite a bit of a different position. So the top of your ankle might or might not be flat to the floor. If it's ever really far away from the floor and we're doing something there for a while, or you're in a different yoga class where they're doing that, a hot tip is if you take like a little towel under your ankles, it just mellows that out a bit, so it's not like pain, but you can still find this long flat angle of the thing. So we're gonna stay untucked and come on up so that your hips are over top of your knees. And in this position, if you tend to like kind of be bow-legged and splay out, then take your block in between your legs. No weights just yet. Arms can reach a little forward of your spine, but try not to tip back into a back bend, stay in one line. Then hinge back from your thigh. This is called thigh stretch, right into it, and back up. So we'll do those again. As you tip back, you're still zipping up between your center and up. Or you could also think about kind of lengthening your sitting bones towards your backs and knees for most of us. If you tend to already live in like a posture that's a bit tucked, then maybe you're actually thinking about fluffing your butt back behind you. One more, so you should feel back of thigh turn on to help support you. Hold this one. Front of thigh is stretching. Take a breath. Come all the way up. If you have a block, poop it out and stand up. So you don't need your blanket for now. It can go off to the side. You might want your weight in a second. Start with nothing. Hands on hips, feet about sitting bones distance. Hinge forward. Feel the backs of your legs long and use them to stand back up tall. So it's a good morning, hinging forward, good morning, and back up. You might have hands behind the head. And you're only hinging to the point where like nothing changes in your spine and nothing really changes in your legs. So if backs of legs are super tight, you'll do the whole thing with a little bit of a bend there, but you're not taking it into a bigger bend when you do your little dippy dippy. Good morning! I think it's because of the view in the back. I don't know. 2 more times, hinging forward. So we're gonna work the hamstrings today in their long position, but also in their shortening position. Hold this one, and either keep your hands where they were, or do a little like self-palpation, and just try to feel that you're not in a dippy back bend, but you're also not curled in your spine. You're just nice and long and in your, what we call neutral spine. 1 more breath, perhaps take hands back behind the head, and stand back all the way up tall. So I'm gonna grab my weight, and we'll do a little split of a deadlift. Weight is optional. If you've got a big one like me, just hold on to it so that you've got a secure and even weight in both hands. And step my left foot to where my right heel is. So I'll show you from the side. Left toes are at right heel. Single leg little deadlift. So going down, 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 and back up. Down, 3, 2, 1, and up. Down for 3, 2, 1, and stand. So that's our tempo. It took me a second to figure out how to describe it. Down for 3 counts, eccentrically, and then back up on 1. Down for 3 counts, 2, 1. So hopefully you're feeling the work in the back of your right leg, the one that the heel is on the floor, and your left leg is just kind of there for stability, but you're trying to isolate the work into your right back of upper thigh bone. 1 more time, down for 3 counts. Hold when you get to the bottom. Roll the shoulder blades onto the back, so again, you're not rounding in your upper spine, but long. Find your center, big out breath to stand you back up tall. Just switch. Other foot goes flat, other toes are lined up about with that heel. Cool? I'll show you from this side still again, so you get the other view. Down for 3 counts, 2, 1, stand. 3, 2, 1, stand. If the tempo is like too fast for you, or you just want to do your own thing, that's fine. And as I'm going, I'm trying to feel that both sides of the waist are about the same length. But we're here working on like just different sides of the body. If you can isolate the work one side or other, then a lot of the times that helps to rebalance any kind of like muscle dominance we have. 1 more time. And back up. Okay, so ditch the weight just for a second. Then go back onto your first leg. So we'll add on to that. Bend into both knees, pitch your body just a little bit forward, and lighten up on your left toes like you did before. This time, weight is in the right leg. You extend your left foot halfway back, all the way back, part way forward, and back in. Halfway back, all the way back, part way forward, and back in. 2 more times. Just watch that you're not shifting a ton towards your right side. Like obviously weight is in that side, but you're trying to not lean that way. Last one. Halfway back, halfway forward, all the way up, and now stand. Just take a second. So either you're going to do that same thing, or you're going to keep that leg straight, hinge back into something like a warrior 3, and hinge back up to stand. So your options are this hinge, this like single leg kind of good morning situation, or you're bending and tapping so you've got more support on the floor. You can keep this leg more towards straight or let it bend, but feel the work in the back of that leg. If you're still doing the hinges, great job, my friends. So you could do this with the heavier weight. We're going for about 10 more seconds, hinging forward and standing back up, or you're tapping halfway out, all the way out, and back in. 1 more. Hold, and everybody try to strike the balance. Make sure that your left hip is still facing the floor, not open to the ceiling. Slide the weight pretty close towards your body as you stand back up tall if you have a weight in your hand. Other side. So just test it out without outside resistance first. Lighten up onto your right foot. Weight is in your left side. Tap halfway back, all the way back, halfway in, all the way in. A little faster. Tap, in. Sorry, we kept the front knee bent on the first side. Oh, I just got distracted because this is definitely my really like funny side that wants to do all kinds of things. So I was like, oh wait, what is happening? You might notice a few things. And I'm not even gonna suggest what they are today. Maybe just notice how this feels. Woo! One more. You might not be feeling like as dramatically as I am. That's the beauty of it. So hold in and stand up. Now we hinge instead. So hinging from hip, like the good morning we started with, and hinging back up. Hinge, hinge, and up, up. Or with a weight, or you're doing the variation we did before. Like I said, doing single leg variations to try to just explore the body in different ways. Also, this song is called Squid Cakes. It's by a band called Tower of Power, that are from Oakland. They've been a band for like, I don't know, forever. They're part of one of the original like Bay Area funk scenes. And hold this one. Very good band. 2 breaths. Seen them live in concert with my folks. It's very fun. Stand all the way back up tall. Lower your foot down. 4 squats just through center. Nothing fancy with the arms. Just stand and squat. 3 more like that. Notice how you feel. Now the knees turn out a bit. So for most of us, that will get into a slightly deeper squat than if you're parallel. Last one, squat down, hold once you get there. Lightly set the weight down in front of you. Stay in your squat. Bring your hands together into a prayer and try to lower your prayer down so it's like your wrists are in line with your elbows. And I'm not touching my legs, I'm still holding myself up from the strength of my low body. 4. 3, press the palms in together, lift the skin of the chest for 2. We're standing up, people. 1 count, stand up all the way. Lift the arms up and overhead. Fold forward any way that you want. I'm going to roll. Bone by bone, just trickling down. Once you're towards the floor, step your feet together at the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold like a little puddle. 2 more like that. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. Just letting movement kind of flush out any kind of tension. Hold this one. Hands to the floor. Step 1 knee down at a time to tabletop. And round your spine like angry cat. Breathe in. Back bend and breathe out. 2 more. Notice how your spine is feeling today. Like no assumptions. Maybe this is your first class, maybe not, of your day, that is. And once you've done 2 cat-cows or 3, sit your butt back towards your heels, keep your toes tucked, walk your hands back towards you. Sit on your feet, arms out. Second round of this, a little bit different than before. Flex your palms, press elevator doors wide out like you're trying to hold them, or like subway doors, Tom Cruise, and pump your arms down. In like a really, you're in an action adventure movie. You're Wonder Person. Pressing the walls out wide side to side and pumping down from like under your armpit. We're getting there eventually. 4 more times, down and up. 3, 2, and 1. Hold here. Keep your toes tucked under. Notice if your pinky toe is tucked too. Mine sometimes barely touches the ground. Okay, stand up nice and tall, arms lift up and overhead. Big breath in. Lower your hands down towards the ground, cross your shins, and then just scoop your butt back so that your legs can come forward. Half boat or half teaser, depending on the movement language that you speak. It's kind of all the same. Maybe this is also called like a V-set. Different strokes, different folks. But not really, just different names. 2 more breaths as you are. Press your legs tightly together here. We're gonna be in a different position in a second, but feel how you are parallel here. Then lower down bone by bone. Maybe straighten the legs as you lower. Take a big stretch from head to toe. Bend your knees, feet to the floor, hands behind your head. Curl up, up, and lower back down. Right away into it, curling and lowering. As you lift and lower, say hello to your core. You're like, hello, my little friend. It's small but mighty, your centers. So connecting to your powerhouse, because that's what's gonna fuel you when we get it going. 4 more times like this, curl up and down. And by no means am I saying this is the best way to connect to your core. It's one way. 2 more. We'll get into it in all the ways. Hold at the top, float one leg up to tabletop, keep it there. Other leg joins. Heels together, knees as wide as armpits. Then press both legs out towards straight, but then turn out and bend back into frog. Press both legs out to turn out, straight, and bend back in. Imagine pressing your toes into a bar or pushing something away and pulling your thighs back towards you. Faster now. Press and pull. As my legs move, I'm trying to keep my torso still. Woo! Told you we'd get into it 4 more times. Legs are moving because your abdominals are like turned on. Last 2. On the final one, hold your legs out to 45. Just do a fancy crisscross. Fancy little cross, out in, switching which leg is on top each time. Go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend both knees back into frog. Lower your head down and lift it. Up and down. So legs are getting a bit of a break. Lower abdominals are still stabilizing, but your upper part of the core is igniting still. Twice more, lift up. On the last one, hold your lift, bring your knees together, twist towards the right side, then the left. It's crisscross, but Pilates style. So rather than thinking about like bicycling the legs, try to point the toe like you're changing an elevator button. That's a Kayla Fletcher cue, it's so good. And be careful that you're not falling side to side, but imagine you're on a balance beam. 8 more times, twist it out. Breathing as you move for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Center hold. Lower down head, neck, and shoulders. Arms reach beside you. Knees will either stay bent or you'll straighten them. I'll show you what's going to happen. Your knees will take a little more towards your right, and then back through center, and then over towards your left, and back through center. I'm keeping my legs glued together. So one knee is not sliding past the other knee, but the inner legs are glued together. Either stay like that or straighten your legs and do the same thing. And you might feel a bit more stable if your arms are to a T. But try to make the movement happen from your center, more so than like legs or arms. This is like a tick-tock. Little over to one side, other inner thigh helps to bring it back in. If that's going well, maybe try a circle. To the right, around, forward and up. To the left, forward, around, left and up, right and up. And I'm gonna rein my circle in. Do a little smaller for 4 and up. Again, it can be knees bent. You can also have your hands below your lower back. Last one. Up and hold, bend both knees. Lower your feet to the ground. Arms go closer to your body. Roll your spine up to a bridge. 3, 2, and 1. Roll back down for 4, 3, bone by bone, 2 and 1, tailbone last. Again, roll up. 3. 1 more time. Smooth like Marvin Gaye. Hold at the top of this one, lower and lift in one piece, down and up. So rather than articulating straight up hinge at your hip, dig into your heels, but fluff out through your toes. No tension, no crunching. Just deepening into the feeling of getting stronger for 4 and up. Hopefully you feel a little butt by now. Last one, when you get to the top, stay and lift. Tiny little movement, down and up, little down and up. Also known as a pulse. Just finding your top range of motion and working it. 8 more. Woo. You got 4. Last 2 and 1. Hold and breathe. Lower your spine down to the floor. Hug your knees to your chest and rock your way up towards seated. So try to stay in balance on your seat. This would be an active hamstring stretch. Holding the backs of your legs, straighten one leg and rebend, and then straighten the other leg. If that's too intense, toes can be on the floor, it's fine. But try to keep your thighs still when your legs straighten. Does that make sense? So it's not moving forward. I'm trying to pull my lower leg toward my face. Last 2, one each side. Hold the one leg lifted. Try to straighten the other one. Rock back and rock up. This is the leg open leg rocker. Rocking back and rocking up. You could hold higher up the legs if the flexibility allows. You're looking to abdominal, looking at toes. Abdominal, toes. 3, 2. Don't worry if you fuck it up a little, it's okay. Hold your last one lifted. Bring the legs together and cross them. Okay, so just lower down. From here, you might need to reposition depending where you are. But find your blanket. I'm gonna have my blanket folded so that both of my feet can fit on it and take it onto this slidable floor. And I'll just re-angle this so you can see that a little bit better. So I'm gonna set my mat up so that I'm really close to my blanket or movable object. And then slide myself down into the position I was just in. So we prepped in order to find a little hamstring curl. Start with butt on the floor, feet are on the blanket, arms beside your body. Press the blanket, slide it away from you. Bend your knees to pull blanket back in towards your mat. Press both legs away. Rebend, pull heels to butt. Out together and in together. And so, I think this will work. If you want, you might take a block between your inner legs, and maybe that helps to keep your feet moving more evenly at the same time. If this is going okay, and I'm not going to use my block because I prefer to have my feet a little wider, to tell you the truth, but if this is going well, lift your hips up, not too high, just a little bit. Keep your ribs down. So you're not doing a crazy back bend. You're just lifting your butt slightly off the floor, ribs are down. Slide the blanket out, not too far, and pull blanket back in using backs of legs. Pressing out and pulling back towards you. I'm only moving like 2 inches, and it feels like when I'm pulling in, I'm like almost at the verge of a Charlie horse. So if that's happening to you, you're probably doing it correctly. And if you don't do this movement often, it's not gonna be pretty. And that's why we're doing it. 2 more times. And we're smiling. Last one. Slide blanket away. Pull it back in. Hold it in. Lift your hips. Breath. Roll down bone by bone by bone. Don't hold your knees into your chest. Just lower your butt down. And then slide your blanket away. Hold there. So, my friends I totally forgot to cue this without a blanket. But if you don't have one, no problem. All you're going to do is walk your heels. You'll lift your toes and you'll walk your heels out a little bit and then you'll walk them back in. And I am doing this with my butt lifted. So trying to keep your torso still while your heels walk out. P.S. Blanket friends, we're doing another set. So get comfy, find your blanket in place, and when you're ready, start pulling. You'll either have your butt on the ground or your butt lifted. Here's the thing, only you know. So you have to hold yourself accountable. But I'm here with my other friends just walking my heels closer and further. And maybe you walk all the way until your legs are straight, but your butt is still off of the floor. And you're like, oh! And then you try to keep suspenders on from your hips to your ribs as you walk your heels back in and lift your hips up to the ceiling. Blanket friends, do 1 more. Heel friends, stay in at this last bridge. And then roll down 1 bone at a time. Ooh, so maybe feeling backs of legs, just lift your legs up towards the ceiling, lift your arms up towards the ceiling, and have a little tantrum, freak out a little bit, shake your limbs, maybe make noise, for real though, inhaling, then exhaling, freaking out roommates or neighbors or friends. 1 more time, just kick it out, release any tension. And pause, leave your limbs suspended. Ooh, they feel kind of floaty. And lower your feet down towards the ground. Hug your knees into your chest now. And then we'll go ahead and rock up towards seated. Okay, once you're rocked up towards seated, make your way into hands and knees. Round your spine like an angry cat. Inhale there. And back bend as you exhale. 2 more like that, just clearing out space. Finding a little spinal movement. One last time, rounding back, breathing in there. And back bending. Okay, so from there, walk your hands and your feet back in towards each other. And find your blocks if you have blocks. If you don't, it might be a little bit challenging, but you'll be okay, I promise. So set your blocks up about halfway down your mat. See what's gonna happen. Once you're about halfway down your mat, blocks right beside you, press your palms into them, and walk your feet in so you're in like a kind of weird position, like a little crouch. So I'm like perched up here, hands on the block. You might feel a little bit more even side to side from the stuff that we did that was like more isolated, one leg at a time. And you might just stay if you want to and have a dance party to Tom Petty.